cup year at last.
Yeah, well, as I said, I don't subscribe to the idea that when you're knocked out of the cup, you concentrate on the league. I'd rather be involved in both, and hopefully we will be.
Your fans have been getting right behind you all season, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been very good. They got a bit quiet the last couple of games, I think, but hopefully they'll be behind us again today. As I say, the cup gives you a little bit more buzz, and as I said, the ingredients for a good game today.
Well, good afternoon from Carrow Road. We're all set for this fourth round tie between Norwich and Spurs. Jimmy's with us this afternoon, and we're delighted to say that Martin Peters is here too, because Martin, of course, graced both these clubs for a spell. Everybody associates you really with West Ham, but you played for Spurs for how long?
I suppose played for Spurs for 5 years and Norwich City for 5.5 years, so I was here longer.
You were here longer?
Yeah.
How's the club changed since the days? When did you play here? About, what, 15, 16 years ago?
Well, I was only thinking today, I came here 18 years ago, so it makes me a little bit older now. But obviously the stands changed and the new stands have really built up. That was in the days of John Bond, Ken Brown, Mel Machin, and it's kind of gone on from there. So it's done really, really well for a club of a small stature.
And they were in Division 2, the old Division 2 when you joined, weren't they?
That's right. We had 10 games to go to get up. We were in the shake-up and we managed to get up there. And we stayed up there the 5 years I was here.
Terrific. Looking forward to the game this afternoon?
Yeah, it should be a very interesting game. Both teams play good football, so it's a bit windy, but I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, that is the right line, isn't it, Jimmy, that both these teams play good, nice football on the park, as it's...
There's no danger in predicting that this afternoon and looking a fool afterwards. I'm going a little bit for Spurs because I think that chap who's on the programme sometimes, I mean, I'm sure you remember him, he has worked very hard with the central defenders, Ruddock and Mabbutt, and Spurs are a better side, a far better side now than they were at the start of the season, and I think that defence will hold up. It'll be tested. It'll be an even game. I hope it's going to be a classic, one that we'll remember for a long time to come.
I know the viewers at home like you to have your hunches about who you think might win. Jim?
Well, I'm going for Tottenham on the basis that, even carrying the manager, I still think that the players might do it.
Martin?
Well, I think Tottenham might try to play on the break, but I think if Rule Fox can get behind the back four, Norwich might just nick it.
Norwich's day. Okay,
Maybe.
well, we're looking forward to it, and it should be a good match. We certainly hope so. So let's now join our match commentators, Trevor Brooking and Barry Davis.
Well, it's a chilly afternoon in Norfolk, and the wind is clearly going to be a factor in this contest. If you've got long hair, they'll be blowing around this afternoon. The Hardy, though, are still doing a bit of fishing around the corner on the River Wensum. But here in Carrow Road, let's have a check on the teams. No surprises in Norwich, as expected. In midfield, Gary Megson has recovered from a groin strain, and he replaces Ian Crook, who has a calf problem. Pity for Crook, a former Spurs player, but there are still three others in the side: Culverhouse, Bowen and Holston. Chris Sutton plays up front, and no problems for Trevor Brooking to tell you the formation.
No, it's a pretty straightforward 4-4-2. Culverhouse and Bowen, the two fullbacks, like to get forward and support Fox and Phillips, the two flank men. And Chris Sutton has got Beckford as his partner. Of course, Mark Robins still out injured, and it has been a problem scoring goals. I think they've only got 2 in their last 7 matches. Let's see if they can change their luck today.
As for Tottenham Hotspur, well, they bring back the player whom they dropped here for the league match on Boxing Day. Gordon Dury, thought to be Glasgow bound, but now apparently happy and back in the side. And their formation, well, they talk about the diamond, don't they?
Yes, the diamond. It's difficult to pin down. The key man is Vinnie Samways. He just plays behind the front two, and he's difficult to pick up. Probably Jeremy Goss might be the one from midfield to do that. And Jury, of course, playing left of midfield, Anderton right. It's very attacking formation. Perhaps Spurs looking for goals, but it also might help Norwich as well. There is Gordon Jury. I mean, plays most of his soccer up front, but coming back into the side, he's got a lot of pace. And I'm sure that Jury and Anderton have got to be very thoughtful of occupying the fullbacks of Norwich, who do like to get forward. Let's see which pair comes out on top this afternoon.
Well, another curiosity of British weather. It's brightened up just a little bit, but at the same time, it is raining very slightly. This is the man in charge, Roger Dilks from Mossley in Lancashire. Teams have changed round, and Norwich City will attack the goal to our left. There's Mark Bowen. A little extra incentive for he and the other two former Tottenham players, who all left Tottenham because they couldn't manage to make the breakthrough into the first team. Days of Oddwell, Ardiles and company, Steve Perryman. Pitch is really quite excellent. First chance for the first cross, but the flag is up for offside. Against Chris Sutton. Very versatile player. Actually prefers to play at the back. But of course Mike Robbins still on the injured list. And that's why he's been pressed into service forward.
Have to be very wary of Spurs offside, Norwich, and must make sure that Sutton and Beckford do come out with the back four. The other interesting thing is Royal Fox starting on the left-hand side and Phillips on the right.
This is Darren Anderton, almost forced his way through. Holston, who got a foot in. Ruddock inviting a chase. Throws the other way. Nicky Bambi. Little fellow trying to find through the crowd. He's struggled a bit with chicken pox, but he's recovered now. You can still see one or two marks, but he feels okay, he says. Olsen to take the free kick. Ruddock is with Beckford, Mabbott is with Sutton. And Beckford beat Ruddock. Sutton fed wide. Off Justin Edinburgh. David Phillips. Not the best of headers out, but comfortable for Torsvet, the header back. Here's Anderton, wearing 9 but playing on the right flank, and will be having to pass the ball a bit better than that. Oh, beautifully played by Bowen. Almost a dance movement. Didn't make up his mind after that what he wanted to do though. Samways. Anderton. Flag is up.
Well, Mark Bowen got forward again. That's the thing Spurs have to be aware of. I'm interested to see how Darren Anderton does on the right-hand side against Bowen, because he's a very good attacking fullback. And sometimes they say defensively, you know, he might be exposed by an out-and-out winger, but Darren Anderton hasn't had many opportunities to play on the right-hand side for Spurs. Normally, most of his matches have been on the left, but of course his Portsmouth days, when he came to everyone's to the fore, he was on the right-hand side. So let's see if he can improve his form today.
Ruddock looking for the offside again. Well, Terry Venables has always believed in the tactic. Could say a lot after that comment, but I think probably least said soon is mended. Brian Gunn only played in the 3rd round last season because of a back problem which kept him out for nearly all the second half of the season. Alston with the head. Terry Venables sitting alongside Doug Livermore in the stand. Livermore, former player and coach here. It's another connection between the two clubs. And it had come in short when he might have stayed wide for that. Bowen. Going to be a couple of good contests on the flanks. Bowen and Anderton is one. And Fox, wherever he goes and whoever takes him will be the other. Butterworth. Oh, good strong challenge by Butterworth. Had the first 5 minutes, no score. cover by Mabbott. Mexon who'd made the run. Bowen cutting it out with some comfort. Spurs throw, which Dean Austin will take. Sheringham. Butterworth will cover. Culverhouse. It's a typically hurried start. Flag was up again. Good clean header by Polston. Bowen, a little casual, didn't get the angle right. Samways, yes, no! It curled too much. But an error by the Welsh international fullback, for which he escapes. He was a little too casual, didn't make certain of the pass, and the opportunity was there for Samways, provided he was quick. And he was. You see where the pass was intended, Fox was waiting. And the shot off the post and away.
Mark Bowen had one of those, didn't he, against Coventry, the pass back when the goal was controversially disallowed, and they had a penalty which Coventry missed. A lot of dispute after that, but that's 2 in consecutive home games. You want to get those out of his system.
Yes, he won't be looking for the hat-trick, that's sure. Free kick is given. Austin. Sheringham. Good advantage played by Roger Dilks. Was a foul by Mabbott. Culverhouse. Polston. Nicely taken. Butterworth. 2-on-2, but the defenders better placed. Good ball from Anderton. Sheringham. And Bowen thought about the tackle, wasn't well placed to make it. Bambi with the header. And too far out, couldn't get any real power in it.
Spurs constructed 1 or 2 of the better moves now, haven't they? It was a good run down the right. Darren Anderton just getting a yard or 2 away from Bowen. Was able to cross it early with his right foot, which of course he could never do on the left-hand side. He always had to turn in to get it onto his right foot because his left is a bit dodgy. So he does already look a bit happier, doesn't he?
And the reverse could be said of Mark Bowen, who's not enjoyed the last few seconds. Darren Beckford scored the goal which beat Coventry in round 3. Butterworth. Challenge again by Polston. Sheringham. Needed interception by Butterworth, the skipper. Fox. Anderton produces the double cover and forces Fox inside. They'll be wanting to do that, but Phillips is wide to the right and was poised to have a crack. Important header. First 5 minutes were ordinary, the second 5 minutes have suggested there's a lot better to come. Fox up on the line. Holston going, Torsvet lost it. Bowen! Oh, worth the try. Difficult on any occasion, and on a windy day more so. So we're in the 11th minute of the match between two teams paired for the 4th time, and in the past Norwich have always been successful in the FA Cup. Edinburgh. Jury. Free kick against Polston. Ball wasn't in playing distance, took Barnby first. Allen. Anderton. Referee placed himself close to Bowen, but didn't actually say anything. Allen didn't take his eye off it. Allen again, and still Allen. Goss just. Anderton again. It's a Tottenham ball. Two waiting. Barnby, but Sheringham had already moved in towards the penalty spot. Megson, Goss. Had to be played early. Megson in a good position still, but the ball was spinning viciously. Didn't realise, surely, where he was and the room that he had. But the ball was like a top.
Well, it's spinning and also held up in the wind, but that's the way for Norwich to break down the offside, getting their midfield players to run from deep.
Fox. Wind in the main coming across the pitch from the far side. Does occasionally go a touch left or right too. That was very nearly a nose back rather than a head. Somebody will write in and tell me that the nose, of course, is part of the head as a whole. Culverhouse. Referee had a good look and decided that was fair enough. Torsvet. Sheringham well up in front of Butterworth, and here's Samways. Barnby pulling away. They've got a man over Tottenham here. Samways made a mess of it.
He's the elusive player, though. You see, joining behind the front two. No one picked him up, and actually Polston did very well. Held him up, eventually went to him, but by then it was too late to cross it, and he got in two minds and lost possession.
Bowen. Still. Oh, he had a touch he didn't want. Samways tidies it up. Anderton. End to end. I think it could be said. Here's Sheringham. He won't make that. Surprising, really, because that was into the wind. But to judge the weight of a cross is not going to be easy. Neurotic. We've had 15 minutes of a match which seems to be getting better all the time. Certainly full of attacking ideas, not all of them coming off. But there's a good deal of enterprise out there. And a few mistakes, which always stirs the pot a bit. Anderton. Bambi! Oh, good shot and good stop. Excellent play. Good cross. Good contact as he fell away, hit it on the volley, and a good save by Brian Gunn.
Anderton not actually beating anyone, just making the crossing angle, and Barnby hooks it in on his favoured right foot. Unfortunately, Gunn got his body behind it.
Free kick against Samways.
Did well to keep it down, Barnby. He's a good play. He's very aware of other people around him, got great touch, and you know, if he keeps his feet on the ground, he is definitely going to be one to watch.
Culverhouse. Phillips. And again Phillips. Spurs back players pushing up onto the edge of the box. Goss, time to look around. Megson has played into a bit of trouble by him there. Chance of a breakout again. Jury, Sheringham, too precise and in the end too inaccurate. So quick though. I do slightly get the impression that Mark Bowen has borrowed somebody's boots. He can't get his angles right. Chris Sutton. No foul in that.
Should have done better because it was a free shot on the edge of the penalty area. Certainly the defenders are trying at least to make sure that it's not a goalless draw.
And so, to be fair to them, is everybody else, other than two goalkeepers. Positive approach by both teams. Fox. Tottenham trying to play him into the snare. Good first touch, Phillips. And he's off and running and gets a good cross. Well, it was a bit too tight for the goalkeeper in the end.
That was Norwich City, as they love to play one-touch football, good movement. The cross just pulled too near the keeper.
Sheringham. Sharp from Brian Gunn to put it away. Somebody got Barnby shouting. Can't blame him for that. Samways to take. Arm aloft. Ruddock up to the 6-yard line. Barnby is on the near edge of the 6-yard box. Two behind them. Fox. Austin. Allen. Samways. Played by Austin. Not sure his final decision was the right one. Or indeed Samways. Now Allen. Change the direction of it. Dury. Good strike. No other thought in his mind. Really set the body. And the left cleanly through the wall.
Gunn did well there, bouncing in front of him, because Sheringham and Barnby were only a couple of yards away from him, just sniffing in case it popped out.
Megson to take the free kick. Men wide either side. Phillips moving in from the right, Fox moving in from the left. Two down the middle, Sutton and Beckford. It's aimed for Beckford. Met. Here's Sutton. Flag stays down. Tottenham were hesitating. Fox. Look at that curl in the wind.
Spurs have had the better chances and have played better, but Norwich 2 or 3 openings, but you can see the confidence has sort of gone away from them a bit in front of goal, hasn't it? They're just trying to be too precise, taking their time and getting caught out.
Barnby. Driven crossfield ball. Barnby, good block by Polston. Fox. Everything in a Norwich shirt to his right. Chase again.
Obviously playing Fox on the left-hand side, thinking he perhaps can get at Dean Austin, but he's a naturally right-footed player, a bit like Anderton, and he's coming inside all the time. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if at some stage Phillips and Fox are swapped over just to see if he can do better down the right.
Polston. Bowen. Sutton took it well. I'm not quite sure what Sutton was looking at, because in his initial view was Phillips, who was square of him, and yet he played it down the line. Mark Robbins. They've missed his finishing touch. Trevor was mentioning that there isn't the confidence in front of goal. It's currently their worst scoring spell for 66 years. That's a statistic courtesy of Albert Sewell, who knows about these things. 1 goal in 6 matches in the league, and then just 1 goal in the cup was good enough to beat Coventry. Sutton. Good ball by Megson. Fox, if he can get there, he can't. Pity for Norwich. You're talking about confidence, Trevor. It's good to see this young man, Darren Anderton, showing that it's coming back for him.
Yeah, but all the crosses have been whipped in on the right-hand side. I've seen him half a dozen times playing on the left, and because his left isn't his favoured foot, he quite often has to come inside, and when he gets in good positions down the byline, has to turn and get it on his right foot. Today he looks so much more happier on the right-hand side. I'm sure he's going to have a run now there on that flank for Spurs.
Offside flag. Does rather pose the question as to why he's been asked to play on the wrong side.
Well, it would be Paul Allen. I mean, that's his favoured side, and now, of course, with David Howells out, he's been doing a more of a holding job in the centre of midfield, but Anderson certainly seems to be benefiting from the switch.
On by Jury. Headed by Jeremy Goss. He got back in the side last week after 9 games when he wasn't selected. Sheringham. Samways. Sheringham. Referee played the advantage for the first tackle, but was never likely to for the second, by Megson on Anderton. Spurs with 4 players in a line of the far post. Now spreading out a little bit. One by Chris Sutton. Not the best of passes from Phillips. Edinburgh. They've had 25 minutes. Still no score. which is a mite surprising considering the pace and the activity that we've seen. Mike Walker, not a flicker. Interesting down-to-earth manager, Mike Walker. Had a good start to his career at the top level. Won by Ruddock. Beckford hasn't seen too much of the ball. Bone. Got the angle beautifully right that time. Again, he's inside. And I don't think that's going to prosper Norwich at all if he keeps doing that. Good view of the new stand. Holston, Phillips, Sutton, Beckford, nearly collected that little touch from Will Fox. Through the Tottenham defence completely, that back heel, but Beckford couldn't take the ball. Barmby. He's an aggressive mover, Barmby. All the time you feel that he expects something to happen from his movement. Austin. Samways. Fox. Space right side, Phillips. Carverhouse on the overlap. Two down the middle. Phillips, blocked by Ruddock. Goss, flag up for offside. Every chance they get, Tottenham condense the play. Well, this so nearly came off. This little back flick. All the Tottenham defenders are moving away, and suddenly there is Beckford. He just couldn't take it.
He's had a hard time, Darren Beckford, since coming from Port Vale, isn't he, down the middle? You know, he's been in and out of the side. Chris Sutton and him are a little bit alike in style, and you just need perhaps a little bit more variation. At the moment, it's a little bit predictable down the middle.
There he is again, but he wastes the ball. Yes, I'd be interested to know what Mark Robbins thought about that opportunity. He's got shorter legs, but I bet they would have moved a bit quicker. Ruddock doesn't get it. Mabbott did. Appeal for a handball, which was surely inadvertent. Plenty of time for Gunn. Good striker of the ball as goalkeeper. He's very accurate. Found Sutton twice. Sheringham. Butterworth. Crown wanted a free kick for a bit of holding by Ruddock and Beckford. This is Phillips. No way. Jury on the counter. Good running by Edinburgh. There's a rush of four to the area in white shirts. Sheringham. Brave stuff from Butterworth, who could nearly have been decapitated. Goss. Beckford. Nobody wide. Well, they're just about matched for size, those two. played. Ruddock didn't really know where he was heading it, just got his head to the wall and no more. After a momentary lull, the pace is picked up. Handball. No, offside. I think it was handball, but even so, offside was the reason for the referee whistling.
Neil Ruddock said he handballed it because he knew the offside flag had gone up. Right.
And if you believe that, referee called that one evens. Nice little header, just too far away from Sheringham. The play Bowen. Space to the right, Phillips wants it, but Sutton in possession. Beckford, vantage well played again. Fox, different cross. On the deck, arguably not quite hard enough. But a good spell suddenly from Norwich. Bowen, Goss. Referee played the advantage well again. Beckford. Nobody wants to take the responsibility. Handball in the end by Beckford.
Probably their best spell of pressure. Rolf Fox took a chance, didn't he, with his left foot? He scuffed the cross a bit, but it was good to see him use his left. But they just lack that little bit of invention in the front two. You know, I think they're too similar. I don't know how long Mark Robins will be, perhaps a week or two before he's back. You wonder whether Mike Walker might be tempted to have a little dabble in the transfer market with a view to their league position.
Neil Ruddock, who needs the attention. Ray Clements. This really has become a very nice ground here at Carrow Road. Venables' man Ruddock has recovered. Samways. Anderton, nice flick with the outside of the boots, gone for the return. Barnby supplies it, just couldn't take it. It got a slight deflection and it made all the difference. Anderson again. Blocked by Butterworth, some cost to himself. He's hurt, the Norwich skipper. Samways, Anderton. Austin. Sheringham a bit slow. Trying to run the knock off. Fox quickly in was Austin, but here's Mexon. Polston. Good running by Beckford. And corner off Gary Mabbott. Few inflatable canaries. They've been flying high this season. Canary against the cockerel. And isn't it the Chinese year of the rooster or something that we've just started? Again, Fox on the line. Sutton on the near edge of the 6-yard area. It's hit further back. Austin's header, offside. Tottenham came out en masse. Holston. He got a knock on the head, and so did Austin. Anderton. Nicely nicked. Again, Culverhouse on the overlap. Wind is really quite fierce at times. You get a sudden gust. Quality is amazing, taking that into account. That's the problem. Fox. Bowen out to the left. He could get a good cross. He does. But that's what they're lacking, really. It's the first time he's really got forward there.
What a difference it makes if you're confident with your left foot and can get an early cross in.
Butterworth joining Sutton on the near edge of the 6-yard area. Holston poised behind, further back. Megson will get to it, but will not direct it.
He got caught in two minds there, didn't he? He had a free header. It looks as if he was trying to knock it back across the goal. I almost feel he should have gone for goal.
Chased here. Had a bit of it last season and didn't approve, the Norwich folk. Like things done with a style in Norfolk. Bowen. Roddick watched it well. Goss, Megson, strong challenge by Austin. Tottenham were not at their most organised then. Fourth corner for Norwich. And a good day.
That corner from that side goes into the teeth of the wind, and once it gets underneath, it just hangs it up in the air, and for Torsved, that was very easy take for him. But Norwich, the last 5 or 10 minutes, I think, have just nullified the Spurs' attacks a bit and come in a bit more into it as an attacking force.
Polston, Allen. Again, cleanly struck and a man found by the goalkeeper. And Phillips pops up on the left. Fox has gone over to the right. Culverhouse. Now, will he take on Justin Edinburgh? At the back post. Oof! Didn't get a chance to come in, did Phillips. Would work in the way. I think they'll stay that way for a little while.
At least it gives him the opportunity of not having to beat somebody on the outside. He just made a crossing angle. To be fair, he didn't pull it back far enough, and although it hit the top of the crossbar, Torsved wasn't too worried, but I think he'd be much happier at getting his crosses over from that right flank.
5 minutes left of an interesting first half. Full of good things, full of endeavour. It's the first wrestling match we've had. And the referee's whistle has in fact gone. And the free kick is to Norwich City. Phillips just to the left of the kicker. Beckford still has Mabbott for company. Sutton and Ruddock further over. Up comes Polston. Already all by Culverhouse in attacking positions for Norwich City. Megson. Trying to tee it up for himself, I think. Good tackle. Oh no. Well, we're all entitled to mistakes, and I think if Roger Dilks had our view, he might feel that that is one. But I don't remember a previous one in the half. In comes Dury. Bombi. Man again, but the header was a bit too acute. Phillips did well. Sutton also well. Good tackle. Austin. Bowen. Line of 4 Norwich players, but the pass is a poor one.
David Phillips be a bit frustrated. Mark Bowen should have found him there, and he was in a good opportunity when Chris Sutton was running at the defence just before that. 2 good wide positions, and he does get a few goals from that left side.
Trying to get in front of Ruddock. He's been too strong for him so far. Free kick to Norwich. Sutton moves away, it's already been taken. Bowen, Tottenham all moving up. But this time the offside trap doesn't produce the flag. Fox, made a bit of room. Better cross, but well timed.
Definitely had a better quarter of an hour though, Norwich. A bit more pressure. Spurs not breaking as effectively as they were before, and probably now making the first half fairly even, Stephen, I would have said, but we're still waiting for that goal that will open up, I think, the game even more, wouldn't it then?
Phillips. Well seen, Goss seeing Fox. More than Beckford had done. Tackled by Edinburgh. Would you believe the flag is up? Scarves being put to good use. And the hats. Culverhouse. Straight chase with Mabbott and Sutton. Edinburgh crawling all over Fox. Carried the hunt a bit too far that time. Ball was out. What a waste. Very theatrical jump. Ball was out again. And Dilks has so far allowed half a minute. All the time for stoppages. Has a look at his watch as the throw is taken again. Holston. And good applause for the players as they come off. The best shot of the half from young Bambi that produced a very good save from Gunn, but each side having a good attacking spell, and the score at half-time 0-0 is fair in terms of the balance of the play. Question is, who's going to find the net in the second half?
Well, I don't know, despite no goals, I suspect at home you quite enjoyed that first half. As you both forecast, there's been plenty of quite nice football. What did you think about that first half, Martin?
I thought the longer the game went on, the Norwich crept more and more into it, and Raw Fox is causing more problems as the game goes on. And he's come over to the right-hand side, and he's getting the crosses that he should have been getting on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
He kept coming inside and denying other people's space. So
Trevor forecast that they might make that move, that he would switch over.
Yeah. Well, he normally plays down the right-hand side, so I don't know what thoughts I had originally. But like I said at the beginning of the game, if he can get going, Norwich might just pip him. But Spurs started very well, I thought, and I thought they were going to maybe score. But they've had a lack of goals, both Spurs and Norwich, in their past few weeks, and I think it's showing today with a few people not kind of knocking them away when maybe they should have done.
Where do you think the goals might come from, Jim?
Well, if Norwich cure their nerves. I mean, the bad goal-scoring record that they had is showing really fiercely. You can see as they get close to goal, you can see a kind of tension comes into their play, and instead of accelerating, they tend to slow down and make certain of things, and it just hasn't worked.
It proves once again how priceless a natural goal scorer is. Like they've got Robin sitting on the bench, he's a regular scorer.
Right. Yeah. Obviously they're missing him quite badly because he's got a number of goals this year. And the boy Sutton is a mixture of centre-half come centre-forward. And Jim says they're just trying to make certain when the ball's up in the air that they're going to stick it away, but they're not.
If you lack confidence in any part of the field, you know, it's bad enough. But if you're a striker up front with your back to goal and you just don't have that absolute feel, you know, that's going to go right, you're going to struggle. And that's why there haven't been that many chances. Right. That's why they haven't created anything.
Thanks. We'll have some more thoughts on this match in a minute or two. But, of course, there are 3 other cup ties being played today. One of them kicked off at midday today. That's Barnsley against West Ham. Let's show you what happened there. And reporting now is Gerald Sinstadt.
Barnsley tackled their second FA Cup tie in 4 days with gusto. When Andy Rammell headed them in front just after the half hour, there was no sign of fatigue from Wednesday's extra time and penalties. Barnsley didn't win their first corner until 2 minutes from half-time, but from it, Wayne Biggins again set up a goal for Rammell. West Ham had started the game with a series of unrewarded attacks. They began the second half in similar vein, and this time had something to show. Trevor Morley pushed over by Phil Gridlett, penalty. Lee Butler was a hero of the shootout with Leicester. Here, he could do nothing against Morley's spot kick. It should have spurred West Ham, but it simply roused Barnsley to fresh effort. David Curry's shot, Neil Redfern on hand to make it 3-1. 5 minutes later, West Ham were doomed. Rammell shot from 25 yards, deflecting off Steve Potts and into the net. A hat-trick for Rammell and plenty to celebrate for the Yorkshireman among a crowd of nearly 14,000.
Well, that's a terrific win for Barnsley. And look at Bolton Wanderers. They knocked out Liverpool, and now they've knocked out Wolves as well. Those are results. Barnsley 4-1 against West Ham, and Bolton Wanderers 2-0 at Wolverhampton. We hope to show you those Bolton goals in due course. But there's another tie as well. Sheffield Wednesday against Sunderland today. That kicked off more or less the same time as this one here at Carrow Road. Wednesday missing 12-goal David Hurst today. He'll be out for a while with a thigh injury. He was replaced by Gordon Watson. And for Sunderland, remember, cup finalists last year, only 6 who played in that cup final in today's starting lineup, and the bookmakers have them among the 100-to-1 outsiders this time. Clive Tilsley is the commentator.
Davenport. Cunnington's made a good run here to the edge of the penalty area. Wilson's gone with him though. This is Brian Atkinson. Michael Gray. In towards Mooney. Just managed to steal in behind Nigel Worthington. And it needed a save from Chris Woods. Worthington though. Waddle was calling for it out on the touchline, and now he'll get it via Bright. Atkinson across to help Gray. Waddle making space for another shot, and he really packed a punch from Chris Waddle. The angle meant that it would have to be something extraordinary to beat Tony Norman, but it was a well-struck shot nonetheless. We've had half an hour. Sheridan with a free kick. Harks found inside the penalty area dangerously. Oh, it was a dangerous cross too. Smuggled away by Ball, only as far as Sheridan. Well, Sheffield Wednesday delighted to see John Sheridan back as an integral part of their midfield. He's had some awful knee problems, 3 operations in the space of 8 months. But he's won the confidence of Trevor Francis to the degree that he's been offered a contract this week. And he's well capable of popping in a goal, as he did last Wednesday at Ipswich in the League Cup. And here goes David Rush against Nigel Pearson. And Pearson has pulled up there and has gone down in some pain. And that's an injury as worrying as it's mysterious for Sheffield Wednesday. Surely it could only be a muscle pull. But Nigel Pearson chasing back, and with a yard or two to spare, just suddenly pulled up just before he headed it. Space for Sheridan. Here's Watson. Butcher again winning the challenge, but Watson's able to squeeze it in. Mark Bright's there! Turned off the line by Kay, in by Harks. Might come for Sheridan. Still men in the box. Now is that handball? No, says the referee. Norman clears. Only for Waddle. Sunderland trying to regroup. Into Mark Bright. Another good save by Norman. Another clearance by John Kay. Carlton Palmer though for John Harks. Sunderland on the ropes. Kay concedes the corner. And a chance to get a short breather. Tony Norman, the central figure, and an incredible melee inside the Sunderland box. Sheffield Wednesday corner, John Harks. Turn away by Peter Davenport. All the spirit engendered on that stirring cup run last year, summed up here by the efforts of Norman and by Kay. Seeing off the first Sheffield Wednesday advance. And then when Sheridan put it back, that was the handball appeal. It was against Kevin Ball. Tony Norman still didn't know what to do. Chris Waddle did. He was going to turn the screws, keep the heat on. Mark Bright got in, good save by Norman, and clear again by Kay. They shall not pass.
Well, Chris Waddle looks as though he's having a good time there, but it's still 0-0, although it doesn't look as though it ought to be. And if you've just tuned in, it's 0-0 here between Norwich and Spurs, but we've enjoyed the first half, I think. I saw Mike Walker, the Norwich manager on Football Focus yesterday, say that the key to perhaps their performance today was to keep Vinnie Samways quiet. Well, they didn't keep him quiet early on because he had that good chance, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and Terry Sheringham made it well for him.
Yeah.
He moved very well at the right time and just laid the ball beautifully. There's the backward header. That was the one. That was the Sheringham touch. First time left foot, first time right foot, shaved off the post, and that's how quickly you have to move to find space in these areas.
Roger Byrne will be pleased he went wide because he makes an awful mistake here, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's a bad mistake. Look at that ball.
Yeah, nearly got punished for that.
Haven't seen quite so much of Samways since then, though, have we?
But it was more Sherman's pass, really. You know, a player who's tall, meant to be cumbersome, a striker, but was nimble, neat with his left foot, and he made the chance for him.
And just watching Chris Waddle there, Spurs have got Darren Anderton, who plays a sort of Chris Waddle type role for them. He nearly got to the cup final last year, scored a marvellous goal for Portsmouth in the semi-final. Since he played for Spurs, as we all know, he hasn't played all that well, but today he's had
Well, he
some
started
nice touches.
very well today, and
Yeah.
I was quite pleased because I've seen him at Tottenham a number of times, and he took a little bit of stick from the crowd, but today he started to play as we know he can do. It's a good cross here. Barnby can't get quite down onto that to knock him, but he's gradually kind of drifted a little bit. But
Nice acceleration there.
it's ball from Barnby out to him. Yeah.
Another of the young stars that they've got now.
Yeah. Good early ball there. Barnby does superbly well there. He's definitely one for the future, young Barnby. Yeah.
Another example, Jim.
Yeah, I find with him that he's willowy. You know, he's for a winger. There's an astute little touch along the floor. Everybody was expecting it in the air, but he's a little bit willowy.
Yeah.
And
Leggy.
unless he's leggy, and unless he's actually in his stride, a little bit really sometimes like Barnes. You know, once he's going and flowing, he does miracles with it. But to get off the mark and get clear, he seems to get the ball stuck under him.
Terry
at times.
Venables tells me that the thing about him is he lacks confidence,
Yeah.
that he's
Yeah.
a sort of fairly
It
sensitive
looks
sort
that.
of guy.
Yeah, it looks that when he plays. I mean, he just needs a couple of games to really hit a goal and really play well. I think we'll see better of him because he's only a youngster, isn't he?
If he got a goal here today, it would bring him on leaps
Well,
and
Terry will
bounds.
be pleased.
Well, it'd been one or two of them back to life, and us.
Right, let's just pop down now and hear from the man who's not playing today, Mark Robbins.
Mark, Spurs started well, but then Norwich came right back.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's a typical cup tie. It's very tight. I think on whole, Spurs have had the better chances, but I think we've had most of the possession, so hopefully we can turn that into our advantage in the second half.
I have to say, they look like they're missing you up front.
I don't know about that. I think they're doing very well. Neil Ruddock and Gary Mabbott are doing well at the back, so it's very tight. So hopefully, like I say, hopefully it'll go our way this second half.
What would you say to your two strikers? They good players, but maybe just need a little bit of confidence?
That's right, yeah, just a little bit of confidence in front of goal. They look to be in two minds at one stage, and I think it's just one of those things. They just get the mind on the goal and have a shot this half.
Well, we can say they're missing you. Any news on when you'll be back?
Hopefully this week sometime.
So you might play midweek?
Maybe.
Could have played today?
Not today, no. There you go.
Your own players saying they need Robbo back.
I think they're having a laugh. Yeah, hopefully this week it should be all right this week.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Other players you can see running behind Mark Robbins, and there the disabled so well catered for at Carrow Road. They're behind glass, in the warm, plenty of room for wheelchairs. It really is an example that they're setting here at the Norwich City Football Club. And it's also nice to see that they've given the upper part of their new stand to away supporters, treating them like people. And one hopes that supporters who come here will respond to the gesture. So if you've joined us late, you've missed a good half. Let's be optimistic and hope that the second will be even better. But they start it with a blank score sheet. Spurs now playing right to left. On by Barnby. Butterworth. Sides met back in 1915 when Norwich were in the Southern League and Spurs in the First Division, but Norwich came through. In 59 when Norwich were in the Third Division, Archie McCauley's days, and they got to the semi-final that year, beat Spurs on the way. Terry Bly scored the decisive goal, and then later in 84 it was Mickey Shannon. But now for Tottenham, it's Darren Anderson. Good clearing header by Culverhouse. Fox loses out to Gordon Dury, who was fairly quiet during the first period, I thought.
Perhaps you'll go wandering a bit, because if you're on the left flank and the play's not down that side, you tend to be a bit isolated, and perhaps you'll wander a bit more and come into the middle, which probably is a bit happier.
Getting the right balance. Problem for managers. Free kick is given against Mason. And Chris Sutton starts to move to cover before Neil Ruddock makes his presence felt towards the edge of the area. I've seen him make the late runs, for which he was fairly famous at Southampton. Which angle is it going to be? Sheringham trying to find a bit of room, and they're coming up at the back, and that was Polston's header as Ruddock came in behind. Edinburgh. Away by Phillips. Free kick. Samway's foot too high. Norwich City, league leaders 5 times this season, including a stay of 2 months which ended on the 9th of this month. Saved briefly for last Saturday. Barmby, Polston at his back. Barmby again, and he's got away from Polston. And Sheringham scores. And a lot of that is down to the youngster. He got away from his marker, had the room for the cross, and Sheringham supplied the finishing touch. Scampered ahead. There was even time for the quick look up, and a good finish by Sheringham.
Well, it's a marvellous goal, good ball by Jury, and as you see, the little look inside by Barmby, he can use both feet, no hesitation with his left foot, and an easy side foot in for Sheringham.
Goal coming 3 minutes into the second half. And immediately the cry from the Tottenham supporters of Wembley. Well, they have been there rather often. Really did well. Showed himself initially, shielded the ball and then got away. Free kick. Jury using a back, and it belonged to Culverhouse.
He shows great maturity, Barmby, for a young player. You know, he's running off the ball in his unselfish play. You know, for somebody so young, to have that in his game already is a very good sign, I think, for the seasons ahead.
Must be quite difficult for Terry Van der Waals to have to wait until after the game to ask Jimmy Hill what he thought about that goal.
Probably quite pleased, I should think, though.
Anderson takes it. Oh, that is a brilliant goal. Sheringham takes the applause, and how well he deserves it. It was a lovely free kick and an excellent header.
Darren Anderton whips it in. It just needs the faintest of touches. That's all Sheringham got. It'll do him a lot of good. He's having a quiet spell himself as far as goals. I think 2 in 11. He said he needed a couple, and he's got them in the space of about 3 minutes.
Curl away from the despairing Brian Gunn. So Norwich City suddenly find themselves 2 goals down. Smile on the faces of Anderton and of Teddy Sheringham. Takes him into double figures for Tottenham. 10. In fact, it takes him to 11. I can't count. 2 and 9 used to make 11. Butterworth. Goss. I think that's a free kick. Didn't quite get to it first time, Paulson, then he stopped Jury going. But I'm not sure that a free kick has been given. Alderhouse.
Well, it's a big test of character now, isn't it, for Norwich? I mean, I think we should all acknowledge what a great first half of the season they've had up to Christmas. They've just had a little wobble in January, and it's showing a bit today. And of course, the supporters will appreciate what they have achieved, but once you get up to that sort of position, there's an air of expectancy, so they're a bit frustrated, I think, now.
Well, those supporters we looked at while we were talking looked absolutely numb. It's not that cold. Megson. Handball. Well, I suppose it'd be a new thing, Trevor, for Norwich to be able to say, if they can't pull this back, well, we can concentrate on the league. We haven't been able to say that in the past, have they?
Well, Mike Walker said in his interview beforehand, he didn't want to be saying that afterwards.
I bet he will, though, if he loses. Here's Sheringham again. Anderton. Unlucky Samways. Barmby. Play on, says Roger Dirks. Offside. Flag is up against Sheringham.
The difference today, undoubtedly, is the invention in the forwards, though, isn't it? The touch, the movement is so much sharper for Spurs when they're going forward. Norwich, I'm afraid, today are predictable.
Beckford. Bowen. Prepared to go for a shot with his right foot. But not memorable. Well up by Look. Anderton. Well, he's certainly pleased with life, but I think he is quite a few evenings actually down at the local.
I wouldn't like to see him upset.
Here's Jury. Oh, well played. Samways. Well held in again by Brian Gunn. That's the best thing that Gordon Jury's done. Drew everybody across, and Samways was in the clear. And Mike Walker, how long will he wait before bringing Lee Power into the action? Beckford. Bowen. Found Samways. Anderton's made a good forward run, and Barmby was aware of that, so had Jury. And it's just away from Barmby, who followed that all the way through. But actually there were two players who made almost the same run at the beginning, and in the end that left Tottenham with not enough players in the middle.
But he did well then, Jury, because he did hold it up, turned inside. You see him looking, waiting for somebody to join. Sees Barnby coming late, plays it square, but his little legs couldn't quite get to it, and they couldn't get it under control. But Spurs at the moment looking more like getting a third than Norwich getting one.
Barnby. That's good play, it's Edinburgh. Good block. Came out well then, gave him absolutely nothing to shoot at. Lovely ball. And the goalkeeper did well.
Barnby's through ball again, super awareness.
Anderson's come across to take the corner. Up comes Mabbott with a good hook. Anderton once more, at the back is Ruddock. Sutton's header. Paul Allen. Oh, strong shot from Neil Ruddock. Spurs dominating on the field and off at the moment. Alston. Alston's header, Beckford, Megson, Chris Sutton, well watched by Mabbott. Paul Allen. He's the only Allen now surviving in the cup. The rest of the family have gone out. Telling interception by Bowen. Culverhouse. Oh, Sheringham saw that. It was so predictable. Anderton makes a run down the middle. Nice play. This is a bit of the old Tottenham with the new faces.
They've had a marvellous spell since the turnaround. I mean, they're playing some magnificent football. With the wind out there, they're just keeping it on the floor. The movement and the touch is terrific. Norwich don't know what's happening, I don't think. They're trying to throw an extra man forward. Fox is now playing down the middle with the front two. But they're never getting people forward to support them. And it's just Spurs then looking a bit rampant, aren't they?
Paulson had to make that. Interested spectator. Second half, and it's belonged exclusively to the Tottenham part of North London. Nixon and a Tottenham player hurt in that. It's a good header by Paul Allen. Barnby is the player down. He and Megson clashed. Just a collision. Barnby seems to have come off the worst. Quite sure how he actually got the knock.
Didn't look at any contact there, did they? I just wondered whether he's twisted it or turned his, something to do with his side, isn't it, more than anything? Perhaps he just strained something.
Megson also got up rather gingerly. Curious, but not lasting for either player. Which is good for them and good for the entertainment value. A goes Sheringham. Met by Polston. And offside was Chris Sutton. Mistake by Polston. Dury. Good covering tackle in the end, recovery tackle, but still the cross comes in. Too far for Darren Anderson. Well, you wouldn't think that Spurs had lost their 2 league games since beating Marlow 5-1. In a game that scoreline flattered them a bit. Here's Samways, scored 2 in that match. One of them absolutely superb. Dury. And Bambi, who also scored 2. They won't score here with a shot like that. Everything coming off for Tottenham. Samways. Edinburgh. It's a bit tight, but Bambi still tried for it.
Yeah, I think Gordon Dury's hamstring is a bit tight as well. He just pulled up when he stopped running just now. Standing still. It would be a great shame if, having just worked his way back into the side, he's got a muscle injury that's going to put him out for a while. If it is gone at all, I would have think they wouldn't hesitate too long to take him off.
I suppose the sprays these days are user-friendly, otherwise we'd have to go back to the bucket and sponge. Beckford, Goss. Doesn't kick the ball anything like as cleanly as Brian Garner, Eric Dorsett. Free kick. Challenge on Fox. Butterworth to take. And some good support from the home crowd. And Sutton is up, but so was Edinburgh. Goss alongside Dury, who did well. Butterworth. Phillips, Sutton. Fox wasn't making a run, and neither was Beckford.
See, there's no interchange between the strikers at all, whereas Spurs are linking up and movement and passing to each other. There doesn't seem to be any sort of telepathy, and it's all breaking down. I would have thought there seems to be a bit of activity on the bench at Norwich there. Lee Power would have to come on. John Dean, I'm sure a familiar face to quite a few of the viewers now, the coach here at Norwich, giving some last-minute instructions. They'll have to be good if Norwich are going to get out of this game.
Butterworth. Bowen. Sutton. And the moment for Norwich City to make their substitution. And Jeremy Goss, clearly very disappointed that he is the chosen man. Crowd don't like that at all. Lee Parr is to replace him, but Jeremy Goss gets a very good hand from the crowd. I think they were expecting a straight swap rather than the removal of a midfield man. Parr. A line of 3 forwards now. And if Sutton is going to stay up, it might even be 4. And Fox pushes forward. And here is Fox. He'd gone back too far, unfortunately for him.
Knocked out of play, so as the physio can come on then. Just, I think, a knock on the head. But from Norwich's point of view, the substitution, I mean, Lee Pout, there was a lot of disagreement from the home supporters, wasn't there, for poor old just going off there from midfield. And I would have thought Jeremy Goss did nothing wrong in the game. He worked very hard, and that's why the supporters were disappointed. He's been out of the side for quite a while, just came back in for the last couple of games, wanted to prove a point. You can see how disappointed he is. He's just paid the price of Norwich having to get back into the game, bringing on a striker. Now, if you just take a striker off and put one on, you haven't really put that much extra pressure on the Spurs defence. So you take a midfielder off, take a chance, throw an extra man forward. You could cost you a goal the other end, but it means they might get back into it. But it's no consolation to Jeremy Goss, who was trying to prove a point and win his place back regularly in the side.
Sutton. But without pointing the finger, Trevor, it is going to need an improvement from one of those front players who really hasn't been able to contribute very much. Fox. Oh, goodness me. Referee, though, didn't see a foul. Neither did the linesman. All Fox's trickery counting for nothing. Will they be lifted by the substitution? Power who started this. Fox. Darren Anderton, the nearest Tottenham player. 4 waiting in the middle. Well won by Ruddock, who got up much higher than the 2 from Norwich. Samways. Barmby to his right, Jury coming up to his left. Went for the shot himself. I wonder at what point he made the decision. But on either side of him are players who are saying, why didn't you pass it to me? Took a bit of a swerve because of the challenge that was late, and Gunn turning it over the top, standing tall on the 6-yard line.
Hit it well enough. It's just one of those shots when you've got 3 against 2. Unless it goes in, the other 2 supporting players aren't too pleased.
Anderson. Mabbott. Now Parr couldn't hold it, but he was challenged from behind by Edinburgh. 20 minutes to go. 2-0 to Tottenham. The crowd trying to urge a Norwich City revival. Sheringham. Holston with him. Barmby. Oh! Shot was from Jury. Didn't have real drive behind it, but the impudence of Barmby. Look at this. So cocksure.
Great to see that in a young player, isn't it? It's at that age, and I'm sure all the youngsters watching will be following him very closely.
Megson. Sutton. Barnby and Anderton play it out between them. Header just a bit too long. Free kick for a bit of leaning or an offside decision. I think probably the latter. Samways, Anderton. Samways has made a very good position for himself out to the right and is well found by Allen. Flag is up on this side for offside. Gunn trying to lead from the back. Four forward now. Sutton on the left side. No free kick given against Mavericks. Good try. Power! Taken away by Ruddock. Mixon! And turned away again by Ruddock. Bit of luck there for Tottenham. Phillips to take. Hugh at the back. Samways away. Topped it a bit. But it fell kindly. Jury. Barnby to his right. Excellent tackle by Culverhouse. Now Parr. And once more it's Neil Ruddock. They really have been a couple of bulwarks, those two, Ruddock and Mabbott. Physical presence, apart from the ability to get there first, has been too much. That's awkward. It had to be watched and curled over.
You mentioned the two central defenders. I mean, they complement each other. Power's left footer was always, I think, just going to drift over the crossbar. Torsford was right underneath, wasn't he? But the two central defenders, I mean, Ruddock's so powerful in the air and strong. And of course, Mabbott, who didn't come into the side, he couldn't get in for the first 2 or 3 months of the season, came in and that started with an excellent run. And the two of them together have been very, very impressive. An important foundation for today's attacking performance.
Barnby. Too strong, but he's full of ideas, this young man. Been 19 on February the 11th for the record. Into the last quarter of an hour. Sheringham. Samways towards the far post. Barnby wanted it earlier. He gets it by coming to collect it. He's rather more aware of what's around than one or two of his colleagues. Anderson shot.
That is his greatest strength, Barnby, the way he brings other people in. And it's one of those things, sometimes the most simple ball is the most effective, whereas one or two of his more experienced colleagues have run with it at the wrong time. He just releases it and brings others into play. That's what's so amazing about his age, really.
I hope he doesn't pick up some bad habits as he grows. Hit long, met by Mabbott. It's got to be better than that. They're not going to turn the game round Norwich by hitting it long against these central defenders. Allen in possession. 4 up with him. And the shot from Samways past the far post.
And they've taken the midfield player out and sort of from midfield now, just curling, just going to miss that far post. But I mean, the extra man that they've got now means they're just running at Norwich. And Norwich is okay having 4 up, but unless you're getting a supply from midfield, it's going to have no end product.
Sheringham will chase, and it's on. Did well again, Brian Gunn. Dury. Odie to Allen. Can't believe that the people in the boxes and the crowd behind that goal can be enjoying this too much, because they're seeing Tottenham come in numbers towards them, and they must be seeing huge gaps in front. Sheringham won the race and just trying to lift it over. The gun was alive.
Brian Gunn's playing very well, hasn't he? I mean, he couldn't have a chance with the 2 goals, and has made a couple of important saves first half and in this second. And I should think it's quite a while, because recently in the last few weeks defensively they've been quite tight, but in the early part of the season they were leaking a lot of goals, weren't they? But it's been a while, I should think, since he's seen so many shots rained on him.
Barnby. Paulson to Bowen. I think it might be said from a Norwich point of view that the absence of Ian Crook is really very costly to them. He's the most creative player in the club. And, managers have to make decisions, but as I think I rather implied, the substitution surprised me. Here's Anderton, and here's Dury. Wouldn't come down, and he's got a defender there too, and a stumble that produces the goal kick. I mean, Lee Power is a busy little player, and if he got support they might have got some of the movement going, which is the way they like to play. Now they seem to be just trying to knock it long to, in the main, 3 players up and 1 wide, and it just isn't working. Polston. Culverhouse. Allen. Samways. And Samways will chase that. Only to Phillips. Fox. Countdown is the final 10 minutes. Offside flag up anyway, but the referee allows play to go on. One-touch stuff from Tottenham. It's lovely to watch, unless you happen to be a Norwich City supporter, I suppose. Barnby. Oh! Dury! Oh, it deserved a goal. Doesn't have to think, young Barnby, about what he's going to do. Instinctive, look at that. And it put Dury absolutely clear, and he really ought to have found the net.
They're taking liberties a bit, aren't they, Spurs? Great skill from Barnby. It was almost like a 5-a-side goal. They were trying to walk the ball in the net.
Megson. Fox. Offside. They've fallen for it too often. And I agree, I'm trying to read somebody's mind, but I suspect there was just a moment then when Fox thought, I'm going to have a crack from here. But he wishes he had now. rescue that, Bowen. Still caused a bit of trouble. Anderton, 4 other players up on the attack. Bambi, Sheringham, so near to the hat-trick. Brian Gunn just getting a fingertip to it. And he really has kept the score down. Good climb. And then by the goalkeeper. Bambi. Anderton, and then Allen. Free kick against Megson. And Tottenham supporters going from Wembley songs to Christmas carols, and perhaps needing to remind themselves this only will put them into round 5. Tottenham do have this curious affinity with the cup. A different side in cup football than with league football, which has been the frustration of more than one manager. Allen in possession, gives it to Anderton. Seems to be so much space around. Bambi. Found that a bit more difficult, Gunn. Sheringham made it his. Dury taking on a lot, but so far winning. Bambi and Anderton still. Good quick movement of the feet by Brian Gunn. Phillips almost carried that. Just nothing coming off in Norwich City. Spurs are toying with them.
Well, he said before the game that Spurs had an attacking lineup, and that positive selection has paid off, hasn't it? I mean, the second half display has been exhilarating, and it's great to see the movement and the touch. Although, to be fair, Norwich have had a poor day, haven't they? They look drained, and it's going to be a busy few days to try and get any Premier League hopes on the rails.
Into the last 5 minutes. Crystal Palace, the next game for Norwich City. Midweek match. But then the season will remain very much alive. Had Tottenham lost this one, theirs would have been virtually all over. And Tottenham decide to make a substitution. It's Gordon Dury who's going off, and David Howells who's coming on.
Well, he had that bit of hamstring, but it couldn't have been any strain because he's scampering down that left side pretty lively. But his first game back for a while, and probably not wanted to take any chances, and just bringing on Howells, who's been having problems with an injury himself, and that's why he was on the bench.
Howell's immediately in the game. Would have been a good first touch. Maybe once again he sees a future with Tottenham Hotspur, Gordon Jury. Spurs ball. Spurs everything. Anderton. Did he really mean that drag like that? Here's Bambi. Plenty of support. And a rare error from the youngster. It was a poor ball in. Fox. Free kick against Ruddock. Turns to complain, but it doesn't last long, which is as well for him, because a yellow card would bring another suspension. Megson. Here's Butterworth. Fox. Good tackle by Austin. Culverhouse. Typical of the confidence that Tottenham have shown during this second half.
I think Dean Austin, who just knocked the ball back, I mean, he came from Southend, he's a very good attacking fullback, and perhaps defensively they've definitely worked on his game, he's improved, growing in confidence, and I mean there's been good performances throughout the Spurs side, I mean, but if you were picking one in particular, it would have to be this man Barnby.
And he's still going. Oh! Long may it continue, but with a little more luck at the finish. Into the last minute. He's got another round to play. And another round and another round and another round of what promises to be a very good career. Samways. Allen. Anderton to the right. Sheringham down the middle, supported by Howells. Bambi is just behind them. Anderton. And here's Howells. Flag. And the shout, if I'm hearing it correctly from the Spurs supporters, is to Manchester United. And a few watching this performance will see Tottenham as a threat in the cup. And Mike Walker, although he didn't want to do it, will have other priorities in a couple of moments. Megson, free kick. Over eager by Samways, right at the end of the match. That speaks a lot for Spurs. Sutton. Mainly out to the left, Sutton, since the substitution. And really hasn't been in the match from there. Good advantage played again. Here's Anderton. And here's Sheringham. Good save. Had an excellent game, Brian Gunn. He's looked the Scotland goalkeeper that perhaps he will be given the chance to be. Ruddock. Oh dear. He didn't. No, I better not say it. I'll get too many letters from Scotland. But I think this is his first mistake. It's a corner. tried so hard to lift his side from the goalkeeper's position. Barmby. Well, shades of other days from Tottenham in the second half. Both the goals coming from Teddy Sheringham, who came very close to making it the hat-trick. But the youngest player in the squad was the star of the show. He seems to be a lad with his feet on the ground, just enjoys playing. And for the benefit of his club and for English football, one hopes that will continue for a long time. Final score in a cup tie, which must have brought delight to Terry Venables, who comes on to applaud his team in unison with the Spurs supporters. Norwich City 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2.
Well, Martin Peters played in some good Spurs sides, but they were electric there in the
second half in particular, they really came on song, didn't they? Obviously the 2 goals in about 2 minutes really set them going, and Norwich just got worse and worse as the game got on, unfortunately for Norwich.
They've got some nice precocious young talent there, haven't they?
My goodness,
now.
That young man is full of deception. He's got wonderful skills, and his brain works so quickly. Brain works so quickly. He's a product of the FA School of Excellence. A lot of discussion about whether that's beneficial or not, but certainly looked beneficial as far as that young man was concerned.
He comes from Hull. His dad played as a pro, I believe. And he's a rugby league fan, but he's got wonderful talent, and he might be the player that people will turn out to come and see, you know, if he can maintain it over a number of years.
Well, I think a few defenders who will watch the television today will know all about Barmby now and be prepared a little bit for him if they come against him.
I think we can hear what he's going to say to us now, because he's down there with Ray.
Well, here they are, the little and large Spurs striking force. Let's show you 2 goals straight away. That was a great performance by Spurs today. Teddy, first of all.
Yeah, great result. I think we'd have been happy coming here, getting a draw, maybe nicking a win. It was a tight game last time we played here, but it was whoever took the chances today, really. And we had 2 nice chances, and luckily that fell to me. We put them away.
Nick, you just looked up and played that correctly.
That was a bit of luck, really. I think it went through the defender's legs, and
there was your header, Terry, from Darren Anderton's cross.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. It was a long time coming, so I enjoyed that one.
Now, this gentleman standing next to you, he's playing so well. Can you pay him a tribute, assess his skills?
Yeah, I paid him a tribute early in the season, saying that if he was a 24-year-old, he'd be playing unbelievable. But you look at him and he's only 18, so he's got a hell of a game in the future. You know. Nick, very quickly, you're having a great time in the Premier League and now the FA Cup.
Yeah, I'm loving it just to be in the first team, and it's just a bonus, really. All my ambition is just to keep in there.
Thanks for talking to us. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Well, we're almost running out of time. That's why the interviews are pretty quick. But we've got to show you Wolves against Bolton. Bolton won it. We gave you the score earlier. These are how the goals went in with Gerald Sinstad.
Success breeds confidence. Confidence breeds a cup run. Having won at Anfield, Bolton entered the Wolves' lair without fear. After only 11 minutes, Andy Walker fed Scott Green through the penalty area, and the finish was as cool as it was precise. For Wolves, Mark Burke won possession in midfield and was then given a superb through ball by Paul Cook. Keith Brannigan added to his string of fine saves in this cup competition. On 24 minutes, David Lee's throw-in progressed via Tony Kelly to Scott Green, whose deflected shot looped up for John McGinley to score his 5th goal in 4 cup games. Bolton are now beaten only once in 19 matches and won't be anybody's fancy in the draw.
So Bolton in the draw later, along with Spurs, and along with Barnsley, who beat West Ham 4-1. We showed you that action earlier. But now Sheffield Wednesday against Sunderland, the second half action with Clive Tilsley.
Nigel Worthington. John Harkes. Blocked by Kay. Cleared by Ours. Worthington. It's an awkward one for Norman. Oh, he's lost it, and Bright has scored! 10 seconds left on the watch. Mark Bright has surely put Sheffield Wednesday into the 5th round, and Tony Norman, such a hero on the road to Wembley last year, just won't know how that happened. Mark Bright, who got the winner in the 3rd round at Cambridge, is presented with a winner in the 4th round in the very last minute, and poor Tony Norman. It was a terrible error.
Well, Bright's turned out a good signing for them. So confirmation of the results. Barnsley through 4-1 against West Ham. Spurs through 2-0 here against Norwich. Sheffield Wednesday with that late goal, putting out last year's finalists. And Bolton Wanderers, Bruce Rioch doing a wonderful job for them. 2-0 winners at Wolverhampton, having already won at Liverpool. Well, final comment about today's match, Jim, here?
Well, we thoroughly enjoyed it, I think. I feel sorry for Norwich because they've achieved so much so far this season, and you can feel that pressure is telling on them. I mean, especially up front, the front players, they can't, and if you can't hold out finally, there really is no point in playing. All the team loses confidence in the moves, almost as if they're starting.
Than's very much, Jim. Nice to have you here, Martin.
Nice to be here.
1966 seems only a whisker ago, and you don't look any different, eh?
Thank you, Des.
And you're still playing a little bit, aren't you?
We play a few games, a few charity games, the ex-Spurs team, yes.
Great. Thanks, Martin. Thanks, Jimmy. More cup football for you tomorrow night, and then we're back to the Premier League action for you on Wednesday night in Sports Night. See you tomorrow. Bye from us.